And welcome. We are officially kicking off our first episode for the PHARRCAST. Yes, it's the first time ever that we kick off this type of platform. The PHARRCAST is a space for not only major announcements, city hall updates, special guests, whether these are guests that work within the city of Pharr or just guests from the RGB that, we want to bring on board and just share information or different initiatives and programs that are happening throughout the city. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Judy Gonzalez. Some of you might know who I am. I've been with the City of Pharr going on 2 years, working with the Office of City Communications. But we were thinking, well, what better way to kick off the PHARRCAST than by having our new interim city manager, Dr. Flores, joining us today. So for those of you that are not familiar with Dr. Flores, he's a Pharr native, and he was previously working for the city of Elton. And now we have him here in the great city of Pharr. So it's great having you here. Thank you for supporting these types of projects, a platform like this where we can communicate with our constituents, our residents. And it's a space where we want to be relaxed. This is not a formal interview. This also gives us an opportunity to know who you are, Behind that very formal suit, we know that there's a guy just like us, just like everybody else that works in the city. So let's start off by saying, how has your transition been from working with the city of Alton and now joining the city of Pharr?
Well, thank you very much for having me on here, Yudi. And I think it's so important, these type of initiatives, right? Because we want to keep our community informed. And that's so important, as you know, to me. Yes, I did work for the city of Alton before. I served as their police chief starting in 2018 and then transitioned to the assistant city manager role where I served in a dual capacity. And now I'm here, as you mentioned, and I've been here since July, and it's been a wonderful transition. Everybody's been great, and helped me ease through that process of transitioning between jobs. I worked with some wonderful people in the city of Alton. They'll always be near and dear to my heart. But I'm here now serving in the hometown, and that's very exciting for me. I grew up here. My roots are here. I worked very hard in my career to get to this point, so I'm excited to be able to provide leadership at a different level in city management to our organization. So it's exciting, and it's been a wonderful journey thus far.
Now, speaking of leadership, obviously every leader has a different mindset on projects, direction, styles. How has it been working with our leaders, our commission and Dr. Ambrosio Hernandez, who can be very particular and very strict at some point, right? Or at times it can be tough, but in a good way, right? Because his expectations are so high. How has it been working, or how has their leadership style aligned with yours?
I think that in that regard, we're very similar in that, we have a very progressive mindset. We like to look for innovative things to bring to the community, and that's always kind of been my thought and process as well. So it's been an amazing experience thus far to work with him. I always tell people that iron sharpens iron. I like to hang out with the smartest people in the room because it helps me grow and get better, and I encourage others to do the same thing. So it's been a breath of fresh air in that way, that we've been able to collaborate and talk about existing projects and also future projects that are to come. And there's a lot of exciting and great things to come for the city of Pharr. I think, historically you can see, the vision over the last 10 years, the transformation in the city of Pharr and all the things that have come to our community, as you mentioned, I am from here, so I've experienced some of that. And under Dr. Hernandez and the commission's leadership, you can definitely see those innovative things and those big picture things that I enjoy. And so coming in here and being able to get my hands on some of those projects, it's been amazing. And these things, as you mentioned, some people see the sternness and things like that. It's about progress, and it's about accountability and sustainability and all those things. And sometimes when we're trying to achieve excellence, it can come across a certain way, but it really isn't. It's just trying to do the best that we can for our community. And when you care so much and you're passionate about it, it's going to show in the quality of work.
Right. And it might bother others, right? Because sometimes your vision is so aggressive to get things done that others might perceive it as he's mean, but it's just, we want to do things and we want to do things right. Speaking of that, Dr. Flores, so, it's no secret that the city of Pharr has had, many changes in leadership or administration in the past, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. So when you join us, was it an immediate like, yes, I'm ready? Or did you actually, sleep on it? Like, is this really a challenge I want to take, because the city of Pharr is growing and it's moving fast.
Sure. I think that definitely with any decision that you're going to make, when I was in a great situation for the city of Alton, right? So there was definitely some thought, and it was definitely difficult to leave a place like the city of Alton because there's some great people there, and we started some good traditions together, and so that's always difficult. So to say that it was a quick and easy decision, it wasn't. But again, there's progress and growth, and so I did think a lot about it, but I knew that I was ready for a different challenge in my professional development, in my career. And I knew I wanted to do it in my hometown. So the opportunity presented itself. And after careful consideration and prayer, I'm a very faith-driven man, and talk with my family, I made the decision to come to the hometown and to provide leadership in the city of Pharr.
And you're happy with your decision?
I am. I'm very happy. Yeah. As I mentioned, everybody's been so welcoming. There's a great team here in the city of Pharr, and I'm blessed to be a part of it and to be able to lead that team. And
once again, leading is just a word you mention a lot, and I've noticed that from the very beginning, you really want to, I don't know if it's just very embedded in you through mentors, but you mentioned that word so much that you've now even started, a course, Pathway to Leadership. So for those that are watching this and you have no idea, I mean, we've made some posts here and there on social media on Pathway to Leadership, but, this idea was spearheaded under Dr. Flores. So just elaborate on, where this idea came from on starting these courses, these classes, and why.
So that's something that myself and my former boss, city manager of Alton, Jeff Underwood, we talked about, a lot when I worked there, and we actually created the program over there in the city of Alton, and it's something that I wanted to bring here because it's so important. When we're talking about leadership, I've always been a proponent of leadership without a title, and I believe that when you think about leadership, it's not a switch that just turns on when you receive a formal title. You should already be thinking about these things before you achieve a position of leadership, because that's your audition for when you're given the formal title. So we want to provide the employees with the tools that they need to succeed. So what better way than to create a program for those who aspire to be leaders, to go through to talk about the different programs that are offered within the city, right? The different departments, how they function, the functionality, how important leadership is, followership, finance, media relations, all these components that encompass a city organization. It's important for our employees to get acclimated and exposed to that so that they understand why the big picture things are happening, right? And so that they're ready when they take on a role of responsibility that way.
Well, whether it's here or elsewhere, correct?
Exactly. I mean, it could be here, or, if there's not an opportunity here, we want to see our employees succeed, whether it's within our organization, but it would, even at our director level, it would bring me great joy to see several directors go become city managers in other places. And that's the goal, is to build people up and to see that next generation of leaders emerge. So I'm very passionate about leadership and being able to provide our employees with the tools that they need to succeed in their professional development.
And those taking the course seem very engaged. So, I mean, you've been sitting in some of these classes, and they have answers, they're curious, and I think that shows an interest, right? Do you see these classes happening long-term?
Yes, it's something that we want to continue, and we're going to be doing them every quarter so that we can get as many employees exposed to this program as possible. And again, there's other things coming down the line. We want to work with our school organizations and do some leadership academies for our students as well, and just different things, different ideas where we can make a big impact on leadership. And the key is more people are thinking as leaders, the organization's going to thrive. It's less vicarious liability. It's more impact on our organization, and we're going to be more efficient, because if we have everybody thinking in the realm of a leader, we're just going to be that more effective.
And I think that leadership, it's not easy. It comes with the good and the ugly. You are also in a position where you have to make tough decisions, and sometimes criticism, great feedback, but also negative feedback. And whether that's internal with employees here in the organization or external from our residents, not everybody might be happy about a program or an initiative or a project. For instance, again, it's no secret that, the city got a lot of backlash and, our statue of Goddess of Nike statue that we have in downtown Pharr. And so how do you reply, or how do you react to, a lot of the negative feedback that we got from this monument and from this statue?
Sure. So in leadership, there's always going to be different challenges, right? And it doesn't matter who's sitting on the leadership hot seat, there's going to be different criticisms that come along. And that's just, you're in the arena of leadership, and that's part of it. How you respond is important. And I think that you have to understand the critiques that are coming your way. There's individuals that are genuinely just providing critiques, and you can learn from some of that. And, you got to set your ego aside, and you got to understand where they're coming from and take some of that, right? And see if there's something that you could do better. And then there's people that just want to genuinely help you, and they want to provide you with some good feedback and some considerations and whatnot. But then there's people that want to hurt you, and they don't want to see you thrive, and they want to see you fail. And those you have to watch out for, but you can't let them cripple your decision making, because you cannot be effective in leadership if you're worried about the small percentage of people that are going to be negative in that manner. You just can't. Regarding the statue, and the different things. Again, these are things. This was something that was inherited, right? A decision that was made, and most people don't know that decision was made, back in 2019. And what you're seeing is all the planning and all the work come to fruition. And I think that one of the things to note is this is a piece of art, and it's a beautiful piece of art that was brought to our city, right? It's not meant to worship. There's a misnomer out there that, it's a graven image and whatnot. It's not meant to be that. It's a piece of art. It's in Mexico City as well. It's an art piece. And as we continue to work towards revitalizing our downtown area, we want to kind of look towards an art district type of deal. And, you see the downtown area that has been revitalized already. Many community members come out and enjoy those spaces. I run out here every day,
right?
And I stop and I talk to the community, and I ask them what do they think, and the majority of them have a lot of positive to say. But again, the silent majority are happy with the way things are going in Pharr. They see the progress, they see the movement, but again, they're the silent majority. So we got to be careful about, as leaders, not getting discouraged when the vocal group, the people that are the loudest, are trying to discourage us from the progress that we're trying to make. You could have 10 different city commissions, you could have 10 different city managers, and they're all going to do things different and have their own strengths and weaknesses and positive and negatives. As long as you have a good heart, good character, you're doing the best you can for your community, and you can go home, look yourself in the mirror, and know that you're doing everything that you can to have a positive impact and influence, then you're doing it right. And I can wholeheartedly say that our commission is committed to the community of Pharr. I know I am. Every day I am very intentional about my leadership through a servant transformational style leadership model. And I come here wanting to make this place better. And I know our mayor and commission do too. And I think you can see that.
Absolutely. You mentioned progress a few times during this interview. So what's that progress that you want to, I guess, implement? And this is more towards our community, our residents. I mean, you're a resident yourself. So just elaborate on some of those bigger projects that, you want to share some of that, or some of these projects that are in the making.
Sure. We got various projects that were going on through our capital improvement projects, right? You got stuff that people don't really see. You got sewer line upgrades, you see road improvements, we got park improvements coming up. So many different projects that we have in the mix that just aren't out there, that we're going to start highlighting more on our social media so that the community is more informed about what's going on, because a lot of it is stuff that just goes by the wayside, that they don't really understand, what is happening, right? within the city. But there's a lot of those big infrastructure projects. You know, our bridge is getting expanded. It's continuously improving, and those projects take time, right? But they're in the works. You know, you see our public safety, how much investments we put into our public safety. We got the best police, fire, and the medical personnel serving our area, right? You know, and that was another thing when you talk about criticism, you know, the ambulance service, right?
Our Pharr EMS.
Yes, the Pharr EMS. But again, you know, how forward thinking was it for our elected officials to say, you know what, we want to ensure, we identified a gap in services here, and we want to ensure that our residents have the best medical care possible, you know? So we're going to invest in that, you know, and we're going to invest in that so that our community has the best medical care, the fastest response time, all of those things that come with that. You know, I think that's commendable. You know, teampharr.net, you know, another big one, right? Who would have thought of that?
Right, a broadband project owned by the city of Pharr.
Owned by the city of Pharr, right? So, again, these are all big picture things that started with the mayor having a conversation with somebody at a Starbucks because they didn't have internet service at their house, so they couldn't afford it. So the mayor cared so much to bring this, just start brainstorming, getting with the commission and everybody, and getting all the key stakeholders involved to make this thing happen. And what you're seeing now is it's coming to fruition. And now, you know, and I could tell you I have it myself, and it is a very fast internet service. I can tell you it's amazing. So
we'll be using you in our billboards.
Yeah.
In the advertisement.
So again, these are just big, innovative, big picture things that we're bringing here that, yeah, they may face criticism, but you got to ask yourself, is it warranted or is it not? And I just think that, you know, you got to be careful about listening to some of the negativity because it can hinder progress. And imagine if they listened to the naysayers and didn't bring these things to the community. These are all positive programs.
Right. And I think one of the questions that I feel that many employees in the city of Pharr, we get approached, you know, whether you work in media, public relations, finance, you know, are these projects, this is why we're facing, or this is why it's reflecting a tax increase this year. You know, what's your response to that? Because we do get that question asked over and over.
You know, most people don't realize that in city, when you talk about taxation, right, the city portion of the taxes are really actually the lowest portion of that. But again, services are needed. You know, when you need the police, you want them to respond, and you want them to not respond to your house in a no beat up car. You want them to have the best equipment so they can provide the best service possible. Similarly with the fire department, with your EMS and all these different services, public works and whatnot, you want your city to have the best so that when you need that service, that you're getting the best quality, right? Well, that gets funded from somewhere, right? And it gets funded through taxes, and sometimes you got to go for bonds and you got to go through different things and to get the major projects done. So when you look at what encompasses that, and sometimes again, we have to raise taxes sometimes. And this was an INS portion, which was the interest and sinking fund. So that it's important for the people to know that doesn't go to raises, that doesn't go to things of that nature. It goes towards these big infrastructure projects, right? The quality of life projects that we need for the community of Pharr. So,
and you've been very open about, you know, this terminology may confuse a lot of people,
Sure.
right? I mean, you listen to this terminology on a daily, you know, whether it's with your commissioners, with your finance director, but, you know, sometimes people are not very well versed on these terms. So
Sure.
you've been very open to say, hey, if you're confused about anything, if you want to understand the breakdown and how this tax will have an impact, or, you know, stop by City Hall.
Absolutely.
Talk to me or Hilda Pedraza, which is our other assistant city manager that's been here for a long time, which I think is very important. I think, you know, having that open door policy is important for the residents.
Absolutely. And I'm very transparent. You know, I believe in transparency, open government and all that. So again, if the community has questions, and I encourage even the people that have a negative feel towards some of the stuff, please give me the opportunity, come and sit down and talk to me. And let's have a discussion about it. I'm open to that, you know. And again, at the end of the day, we all just need to agree to disagree agreeably. We need to be adults and good stewards and professionals, right? And but if there's questions, I'm open to answering all of those, so.
That's good. And that's good for our viewers. They have questions. They can always show up and they know that somebody will answer their questions. And I think that's a whole reason behind also the PHARRCAST, right? This platform is to put some information out there, clarification in many things that are happening in the city. I feel that, a press release is no longer the way to put information out. It's great for our news outlets, but there has to be a better communication platform for our residents, whether it's through social media stories. So now hopefully this platform allows for us to put information out for our residents.
Absolutely.
So this time of year, I know that you're new, but I mean, I'm fairly new too, right? I've only been here 2 years, but this time of year, Dr. Flores, we are busy. We have
Absolutely.
some of the best
Yes.
holiday events. So those are approaching up. Are you looking forward to those?
Well, Christmas is my favorite time of year, so I'm really excited about.
Good, you're not a Grinch.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm really excited about the Winter Wonderland, where folks are going to be able to come out and enjoy the Christmas tree lighting and all the festivities that are going to come along with that. It's really good. And then we got our ball drop event for New Year's. We're really excited. I attended last year and I thought it was amazing. So now being able to kind of be involved in the planning process is real exciting for me, and to be able to even make it even bigger and better for our community, because that's something that I feel these type of events, right? The community events, that's where it's at. It's getting the community together,
Right.
engaging with us and being able to kind of have that fellowship and being able to talk to them and seeing them happy and having a great time. It's so important.
And they're growing. So now that we're talking about Winter Wonderland, this is the first year that we're calling this event the Pharr's Winter Wonderland. So let me add a little disclaimer there. So for many years, we've had the lighting of the Christmas tree, which is it's been a standing alone event, right? That's usually done like on a Friday. And then we have our Christmas Posada, which is done on a Saturday. But the lighting of the Christmas tree started with just a couple of employees going out to City Hall. And then, your tree is now up. Beautiful, beautiful, huge tree that we display next to City Hall. Well, last year, we were expecting, I don't know, a couple of people, maybe 50, 60. We had so many people that, our city commissioner, mayor, why don't we just merge the lighting of the Christmas tree to kick off your Christmas Posada? So that's what we're doing this year. December 1st, we'll have a lot of information. We'll have a lot of information approaching on our social media platforms. So that's what's happening. December 1st, both events are coming together. We kick off with the lighting of the Christmas tree, and then we'll transition into the Pharr's Winter Wonderland. So yes, we're putting all of our resources and all of our department and activity and fun and music and everything into one night.
Yep.
So that's
It's going to be
awesome.
a fun time. I hope to see many of our community members come out and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. We want to do this every other week. Our PHARRCAST, and just have information for our community, anything that you want to share that's important as we wrap up, and more information will be posted on social media, as I mentioned. But this conversation, this moment, this space with you, anything that you want to share, whether it's internally with our employees, our organization, or with our residents.
Just for the residents, again, it's such a blessing to be here serving in the capacity of interim city manager. I really enjoy providing leadership and to our staff. We have a great staff and a great team here with the city of Pharr. I thank God every day that he's provided me and blessed me with this opportunity. I believe that I was put here for a reason, to be able to bring good, sound leadership to the city and work with our elected officials to carry out their vision. And we just want to continue to work hard to improve the quality of life of everybody visiting or residing here in the city of Pharr. And that's my job, and I enjoy doing it. So thank you all.
Thank you. And as we continue this journey and exploring the PHARRCAST, I'm pretty sure that I'll have more questions for you, not only mine, but questions from the community as they're kicking in, right? I'm pretty sure our comments section is going to have a lot of questions. So let's just keep this narrative and this conversation going, whether it's with you and other directors, and just also putting the spotlight on other individuals that are also very talented and really want to highlight the work they're doing as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, and thank you. All your questions, we welcome all questions to our PHARRCAST. Thank you so much for joining us.